Hey everyone, how are you doing today? Welcome back. I'm glad to be with you. I hope everyone's doing all right out there. I'd like to talk today about something I learned in my seminary class this week, theology class specifically. And of course, because now that I'm in seminary, I'm a theology expert, right? I'm not. But I do okay and I'm getting by. It's funny thing, theology, we're talking about our ideas on what the church is and what it means to people and we're just basically just deconstructing faith, right? And breaking it down and kind of toying with the different ideas having to do with church and faith and religion. And what I'm finding is that anybody can be a theologian. And what came up this week was that the idea is that anybody can do this. Anybody can deconstruct their faith, think deeper about it, play with some of the concepts and ideas having to do with your faith. But people don't think about it on that level because it feels inapproachable, right? Uh, so, say I'm a car mechanic and I work on cars and I know all the nuts and bolts, ins and outs, terms, the processes, everything. But you don't work on cars. And I think this goes for every career or profession. You don't work on cars. If I come to you and give you all the technical jargon about working on cars and how to fix a vehicle or the things I do for a living um, on the very technical level, right? You're probably going to tune out because none of that makes sense to you. Maybe you're a big car buff. Maybe it does make sense to you. But to your average person who just brings their car in for oil changes, doesn't really work on them. That, by the way, that's the kind of person I am. I don't work on cars. I know how to check my tire pressure. I know how to change my windshield wiper blades, and I know how to check my oil level and fill gas. Those are like the four things I know how to do about a car. So if a mechanic is explaining what they do to me and they explain all the ins and outs of what they do, they're going to lose me about 3 sentences in after I work on cars. And so that's what theology is I'm learning this week. And one of the books we read, or one of the parts of the books we read, is how, as members of the church, one of our jobs is to bring those ideas to our congregation members or parishioners in a way that makes sense, right? Not use the high concepts unless they are on that level. If they want to talk about that and learn about that, that's great. We can teach that. I'm no expert, but there are people who come to church or do worship, and that's really the only church they get for the week. And that's all the deeper they think about it. They listen to the lessons, they sing the songs, they do the prayers. And so if I was to come to them with these theology concepts we're learning in seminary, I would lose some people, because there's a lot of I likened it to philosophy in a lot of ways, and that's also hard to understand sometimes, right? So our job as church leaders is to bring these concepts to you out there in ways that make sense, ways that you can grab onto, ways that speak to you and get you to think deeper. But we're there to provide you your entry point, and then once you're past that entry point and ready for more, we're able to take you a little further and think about these things. And so, yeah, I'm sure I'm coming off like the know-it-all seminary student after 1 week, but I'll say this: I started my readings last week. I started actual classes in writing this week. We're on Friday now, and I didn't know anything. I'm finding out. I knew some stuff, or I thought I knew some things, but boy, I'm learning, and that's cool. And it's something that I can really sink my teeth into, and it's concepts and ideas about religion and spirituality that I had never considered. So anyway, one of the big ones we talked about this week was symbology, symbols. They called it the explication of symbols. Looking at different symbols and figuring out what they mean to us, right? And it's a really interesting discussion. If you look at me, I always wear, I bought stock in Old Lutheran this summer. No, I didn't really buy stock, but I bought a lot of Old Lutheran t-shirts. Reason for that. I don't like wearing dress clothes. And I didn't have much church appropriate wear for when we were recording online services. So I bought a bunch of Old Lutheran shirts because they have good messages and they have good imagery on them, right? And so that makes me more comfortable in front of the camera to wear those, because I know that I'm putting a good message out there, or I'm wearing something that I know is appropriate in a church setting. And it allows me to wear something that's comfortable, that I feel, so I can feel safe or comfortable in my own skin while I'm doing readings or doing these talks. If I was trying to do this in my dress shirt and slacks, it would not, I don't know. You'd get a different version of Steve. I'd be very twitchy and uncomfortable. Let's just say that. I wear these bracelets, the Saint and Sinner bracelet, to remind me of our dual nature. I wear this friendship bracelet I got on the Hartford mission trip from one of our students, because it reminds me of that trip and everything I learned on it. And it also reminds me of the bond I have with our students. So symbols is something that we were digging into this week, right? The church is a symbol. To many of us, the church is a major symbol right now, and it's become one of the points we fix on, that we can't return to normal. We can't go to church. We can't enter the building. We can still worship in our homes. But the thought of not being in this building together has become a major hanging point for many people. And that symbol of the church building and the feeling you get from that building carries a lot of weight for people. We put a survey out and we're seeing some of the results, and we can definitely tell a lot of you are in the same place that we are. I know we get to come in the building, but we don't get to see people, which is one of the main parts of this job, right? We don't get to see too many people. We don't get to have those worship experiences together. And so I just want to put out there, if you think it's hard that you don't get to come to the building and enter for worship and be around the people that you love and care about, it's as hard for us too, because we're wired that way, right? We're in these roles because that is the kind of people we are. We are people persons, so to speak. We like to be around people. We like to chat. We like to talk to people. We like to help introduce faith and ideas to people through conversation. And right now, there's some barriers to that when you can't be in person in the building. So we're right there with you. But we also understand that we're here to keep you safe and do the right things and follow guidelines. So, keep your eyes out. We're that survey was to formulate and get a temperature check on where the congregation is, and I think it's pretty interesting, and just so you know, we're all in this together, and we're feeling some of the same things you are, even though we're coming to sit in the office. It's just lonely here, right? Anyway, back to symbols. The church is a symbol. Someone brought up the cross this week as a symbol, right? The cross at its base was an ancient wooden torture device, right? To murder people, punish them for crimes. Jesus died on a cross. When Jesus died on that cross, the Christian community took that symbol back as something different and made it beautiful. So you can look at that cross and it's like, hey, this is a horrible tool of death. When after Jesus died and they started using it as one of their symbols, now it means life. It means new life. It's that promise of forgiveness. It's the reminder of that sacrifice. And then even deeper, how do you wear that cross? Do you wear it around your neck so people can see it? Do you have it tattooed on a part of your body where people can't see it? Maybe it's on your back so your shirt covers it all the time. Why is it there? Do you not want people to see that? Some people have really ornate crosses, right? They have something that's really lavish, made of gold, has, jewels in it, and they wear that. Some have very simple, right? I've seen just something as simple as a couple twigs nailed together. How How do you treat that symbol? What does it say about you? What does it say about what you think about the cross? And then what are you saying to other people? Are you advertising yourself, right? Um, Old Lutheran shirts, right? Daniel 6 is on this. Picture of the lion. Um, I believe, I'm not 100% sure. This looks like something that would go as a crown, but either way, like how the Romans used to wear those crowns, but um, it's a billboard to you that who I am, right? But it's very subtle, right? Because the Daniel 6 verse is very small under here. Unless you come up to me and look, you won't notice. If you see me from afar, you just see I have this cool lion shirt. You might think it's like the Lion King or something. Who knows? But it's not. It's a religious shirt for Daniel 6. And then you can go read the verse. I have other shirts that are more in your face, right? The Love Your Enemies shirt is in big letters. And I'm a big guy, so it is like I'm a walking billboard for the message I'm trying to get out. And so that's a symbol too. I'm branding myself. I'm branding my faith and putting it out there for you to tell you who I am and what I'm about. And the hope is you're going to see those and you're going to look at them and be like, that makes me think. That message makes me wonder. Maybe I should look up the Bible verse on Steve's shirt. What is this Saint Sinner bracelet about? Let's talk about that. Things like that. So everything we have is a symbol, right? And so church carries symbology. We have our own symbols, and they mean different things to us. And that's what we've learned this week in my theology class. And it was a very interesting discussion. And I think the point we really got to was people who come here, sometimes the religious and church symbols kind of aren't high on the totem pole, right? They're kind of small. So what are some of the things in your life that are a symbol that you cling to? What are you about? So we talked about how young people really define themselves by their sports, their activities, their theater, whatever activities they're in outside of school, extracurricular things. That's a big symbol for them and their families. That's what they hang their hat on. That's who they are and what they're about. We talked about social media. That is also a symbol. What image are you putting out there for people? What brand are you putting out there for people to see? Who are you? And so the tension or the push and pull is, as church leaders, can we make our symbology or our symbols more important in the lives of the people out there and draw them in? I don't know. I don't really. That's the fun thing, is that there's not really a good answer. We wonder about these things. We wrestle with these questions. No one's ever going to have a solution that just solves everything, right? We do give out symbols, right? We give out Bibles. When you're a lamb, you get a Spark Bible. When you're a third grader, you get the student Bible. And then when you graduate here, you get the Message Bible. And then when you are confirmed, we give out, last year we gave out these little nice olive wood crosses that you can carry around. We're giving out our symbols. We're giving things that, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. Where does it fall on your list of things that you're about? Ask yourselves that. It's a really interesting question. So this week, as you go about, look at yourself. What are you? What's the message you're putting out there? Who are you to people? What is your brand? What are the symbols in your life that you cling to, that mean things to you? And if they mean something to you, what do they mean to other people that see them, right? These are awesome questions. Really fun things to wrestle with, really fun things to think about. And like I said, it's theology. There really is no right or wrong answer, because basically theology is just wrestling with questions and never coming to a definitive conclusion about something. You can put names and labels on things, but that doesn't mean you have the right answer. So wrestle with some questions this week. Look at your symbology. What are you about? What are the things in your lives that are important? And where does church symbols fall on that list of things? And what does the church symbols mean to you? Join me next week. Have a wonderful week this week. Thank you, and have a wonderful, awesome, amazing Friday. Bye.